believe we are live. So I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you for joining me again in another Conscious Evolution. It is a pleasure having you here. I'm going to check something. It's still going to work any second now. I just want to hear if there's wind noise because it is hot today and sitting in that box does not. And sitting in that. It doesn't sound horrible. You can hear the wind noise every now and then. Let me know if it gets too bad and I'll move us. But I am more comfortable here than I think I would be inside of there. It is nice having you here. Today's stream topic is about how we say things. How we say things. Oh boy, I'm about to get a talking to, aren't I? I mean, unless you hear the way I see things, unless you hear the way I say things as not being a talking to. Right? I can be super gentle, super calm, super lighthearted, super soft with the way that I approach a problem. And I can make you feel like you have been considered and despite being corrected, despite being steered in a different direction. And I feel like that again, we did share a little bit yesterday about what happened on Saturday. But I am still kind of stuck on it. Surprise, surprise. And the way I'm stuck on it today is in asking myself whether or not there was a better way to say things. Because I feel what I got stuck on, especially this weekend, is in my own logic. Right? I wanted to say things in a certain way because I believed that saying them in that way was the correct way to say. And as a result of that, I didn't try and talk more about it. I feel like maybe in part there was like a spoiler kind of element to it. That if I communicated more fully, I would have potentially taken it away. But not necessarily. Again, that's just a matter of what I chose to say. One thing I experienced this weekend is my own will. Right? And I feel like willpower and ego aren't necessarily the same thing. Hey, Louisiana. It's nice seeing your name here with us. Willpower and ego. I don't know if they are necessarily the same things. Right? I feel like you can have willpower as an ego, but I wouldn't say that you have a big ego if you have a lot of willpower. Even though it sounds true, it does sound like that should be true. I don't want to drive my friends away by saying things the wrong way. That's what I feel I need to say to myself today. Because that does seem to be a potential problem. The way you say things. The way you say things. I am going to hear what marijuana has to say to me. This is some GC. For those who know, they know. I'm I'm adding some heat to the system. But I do feel very like somber kind of today. Like gentle and calm. I ended up sleeping at Johan's place last night. We had a delicious meal. And pretty much directly after it, we were sent home. And then I wanted to come through last night back home. Nobody was home at that point, so there were no keys here for me to be open for. So I ended up sleeping there last night. And I woke up this morning just feeling kind of business as usual. Like I need to go and do things again. Communicated a few times very clearly to Johan and Christian how much I appreciate them. But it is a matter of like almost the way you tell yourself, right? The way you say things to yourself, even about the experiences that you've been through. Because what I'm experiencing right now is a narrative, right, about what happened. And again, I do still feel kind of like the bad guy. Even though that was literally the opposite of my intent. Because I got what I wanted. Right? That's how I'm measuring being the bad guy. The fact that I got what I wanted. I'm gonna hear what my mom says to me. It says cereal and chocolate milk with cartoons. I never really had that experience with weed. I started smoking weed as a as a sleep aid, and then as a means to get deeper and deeper into my practice. At that point, I was working out, but it was still my practice. Cereal is too expensive. Woo! And so is chocolate milk. I abandoned ship. I'm swimming to the islands. I'm holding on to one of those coconut trees. Oh, nice. All right. Good morning, says Doctor. I'm listening while working in the woods. Rough start of the morning, but a beautiful day. Just welcome Emmy to work. Feeling blessed. Just welcome Emmy to work. Welcome to work, Emmy. Is that what you're asking? Love is true. It's nice having you here, Doctor. Good morning to you, Nancy. I see Jovan's name here too. Bless you. Mel, what happened and why are you the bad guy? We talked about the movie yesterday, right? And how I wanted us to watch this movie, and how Christian didn't want to watch the movie. All right, and the way that I articulated it to Tani Charlene and telling her a little bit about the experience is that the relationship me and Christian has with one another very much is combative, right? But a combative love of like we love one another and we want to see each other strong and capable, and so there is a combativeness to our,
Ja, ons gaan ry werk.
Okay, Tani.
Sorry, ek wil nie jou interrupt nie. calling me out, big fella.
Såklart. Dank u, Vic. Thanks, man.
Wat kan hierop gaan?
Ja.
Heel groot de ijs.
So, as I was saying, I was trying to articulate to Charlene, and the way it kind of happened is that the way that I usually see the relationship me and Christian has is that I am the one who likes to have fun, right? That's my nature. It's my nature to want to have fun. Christian's nature is to not have fun. At least not the type of fun that I like to have, right? Christian's nature, like the Saturday that I had a call with him, last of Saturday, right? When he just landed in South Africa. I called him up, I had a phone call with him. And at that point, I was at one of the conclave parties. There's loud music playing. I was dancing, and I was missing Christian. And then I call him, and he is in bed reading Edgar Allan Poe, right? And that is the difference in our environments, right? My idea of what a fun Saturday could be isn't necessarily the idea of what his fun Saturday could be. So our whole life, we have had this relationship with one another where I have to convince him to come and have fun with me in one way or another, right? And it's pretty well known in our friend group that that's how it is. So we are in the midst of this experience, and all of us are feeling good, and we're having good conversations, and love is true. And then I propose that we watch this movie called Ultraman Rising. And he says no. But again, with my context in mind, no from Christian doesn't mean no. It never has mean no. It has only ever meant convince me, right? Why? It's only meant why, technically, in my life, right? So I didn't take his no as an answer. To me, it was just like, actually, you haven't said the right words just yet. And again, the more I pushed from that perspective of like, I'm not accepting that answer, the more angry he got because of me not accepting that answer. And again, like the part of me that feels like a bad guy is the part of me that knows he doesn't like the fact that I get away with that. Right? The fact that I can decide and then other people conform. Like in his worldview, he sees that as wrong. Right? And he sees it especially as wrong because I am the one who takes that kind of power. And he was trying to make a point. Like at one point he made that clear that he was trying to make this point to me. And I asked him why. Like, why do you want to make this point to me? I don't always get what I want. If I got what I wanted, I'd be, planet Earth's king or whatever. I probably don't want that, but the point I'm making is like I would be in a different position right now if I just got whatever I wanted all the time. Right? And I rarely recommend movies as well. I haven't recommended a movie to him all year, all of last year as well. Right? Because there aren't that many movies that are that impactful to me where I would be willing to ask a person to spend 2 hours of their time, to appreciate this work of art. So, yeah, again, I feel like a bad guy because I got what I wanted. I got what I wanted. I wanted to see this movie with my friends. He wanted to watch the last episode of The Boys. Right. And I suggested after we basically, like the tempest has ceased to rage. We were calm. We were no longer, obfluent, jumping to conclusions. and have decided that we're gonna watch the movie anyway. I suggested that we watch, the last episode of The Boys before we watched the movie I suggested, if that is what he wanted. And then Johan was like, I'm not doing that. Because we were in a very open state of mind, right? And when you're in that open of a state of mind, what you put in your mind is of utmost importance. And again, maybe this is where I'm catching myself. I feel lacking. It's with that fractal that I could have used my words better. I could have said better words that would have made that experience better. There was one moment where we apologized. And then I'm trying to apologize. I really am. Isn't wanting to apologize for or for my way of for my passion, right? For my unwillingness to relent. But I want to apologize for my inability to say the right words to have convinced him sooner, right? Like that's what I feel ashamed of. I don't feel ashamed at all of my autism, to say it in so many words. I feel ashamed of my lack of awareness, I guess. All right. That's the real thing for me. All right. Love is true. Mel, I think I missed what happened. Now you know. Now you know, LA. Hope everyone's good. Love is true. Chocolate milk could cost as much as a house payment, and I'd still fucking pay for it. Some things are worth it. Like if I buy chocolate milk, I don't eat at the end of the month, Sam. Like I'm already kind of at that point, so like it's not really an option, so it doesn't get bought. It doesn't have to cost as much as a house. It just has to cost enough for me to not be able to justify it, right? Which it does. Cost like one thing of chocolate milk costs half a pack of chicken breasts. Half a pack of chicken breasts can feed this house for 2 days, right? With some extras, but that's what I have to contend with. So, no. And it's not exactly good for you. That part also helps, at least. Cereal is breakfast soup. Change my mind. You can. It is very well, maybe. That doesn't mean it counts for your weekly soup minimum, Jovan. Breakfast soup. Good morning, Melton Moore. Good morning, Pojo. Florida man, there you are. It's nice having you. Maulao. Hey, bro. Sending you lovings. Thank you for blessing us with so much Degas. No doesn't mean no, just means you haven't convinced me yet. I get what you're saying, but let's not take that ever out of context. Yes, exactly. Right? And like that point was made last night as well. There is a difference, at least in my mind, when it comes to verbal communication. Again, that is today's stream topic, and physical violence. I believe, at least. Planet Earth's king seems like a big job. Exactly. That's why I instantly said I don't know if I want that job, but it would be a matter of I'd probably be Planet Earth's king for long enough to find out that I don't want that. And because I can get whatever I want, apparently, I would cease being Planet Earth's king because I can want that too. But no, neither of those cases are true because I can't just get what I want. Right? That's not how it works. I have to also work for things. I have to also convince people of things. I have to also be articulate enough to use my words correctly, say the right things. Otherwise, nothing. Jovan! Love is true. Jovan, I almost sent you a video this morning. We had a new batch of baby ducks, and one of them was significantly smaller and less developed than the others. But he was feisty and did his best to keep up with the rest of them. I thought I was going to have to save the little guy because they kept leaving him behind. But he's a tough little nugget and keeps chasing the rest of them around the field, so I had to let it happen. Love is true. That is super wholesome. Even if you small, keep up anyway, right? Or at the very least try. At the very least, try to keep up anyway. Hopefully you'll find yourself surrounded by big things that love you enough to slow down for a second. That's the way I would like to see it, at least. If you haven't been told today, you are loved and appreciated, and you do make a difference in this world. If you're like, oh, Melt, I'm a bad person, I don't make a difference, you do. You can make a bad difference too. Melt, I'm a completely neutral person, you make difference too. You eat food, you see people in the outside world, right? All of these things make differences. Thank you for making a difference in my life by being here. It's always a pleasure. Jaju, no, how sweet. Quite late in the season to be raising a bunch of BB quackers. It is true. It is gonna get cold soon, but maybe Florida is gonna be okay for that. Joe, is there a pen to protect the chickens from gators lurking in the swamp with their buckets and butter? The last part of that sentence fell apart for me. Giovanna doesn't freeze here. Yeah, there we go. So we have ducklings all year. I was wondering about that. That's black and white thinking, Melt. You can communicate in more ways than just the right words. But the thing is, even though I agree with you, it is black and white thinking. We are back to our starting point about choices. For instance, despite the amount of I have been trying to communicate others of the dangers of alcohol, I can't seem to say the right words for people to stop. You know, and I know that's black and white thinking, Mel, but it's not black and white whether or not alcohol is poisonous. Right? It's very clear. It's very clear. Pretty well known. So I feel like that's like one small little inkling node, right? Like it extends way bigger than that, right? Like it goes into literally everything. I feel like I'm actually bad at convincing people of things. Maybe that's why I'm tripping out. Is that why I'm tripping out? Yeah, in part maybe. Because it feels like I actually failed. Technically, but still succeeded. Yeah, who knows? Being a human is something. It is shame. It sounds like frustration. Yeah, there probably was some of that in there as well. I wouldn't be surprised. I have learned that sometimes it's better to not let someone else's energy take the lead rather than convince them of my better idea. Yeah, but that's the thing as well, right? Like, my energy was being affected by this other person taking the lead as well, right? And they had the lead. They had the lead of the conversation for the first 6 hours, give or take. Right? So it wasn't like I wasn't being considerate. Wasn't like I didn't let them have what they wanted. It was more just a matter of confusion as to why I had to fight. Why I had to fight for what I want. Right? And as I'm saying that, it kind of cracks me up because that's like, yo, that's how it is, Mel. You have to fight for what you want. But fuck, I don't like fighting. How about that? I would rather just not. I would rather you not fight me and follow me instead. But I think even in saying those words, they are wrong in my attempt to get someone to want to follow in the first place, right? And then we're right back to the question: how do you say the right words? How do you say the right words? Black and white thinking or not? Right. Natural is brutal. I think I missed some context. Sam, yeah, they have their safe spaces, but they're ducks and they like water, and gators also like water. Circle of life kind of thing around here. Yeah, that is rough. Right, sometimes you gotta let it go, even if you think you know what's right. I don't think I can, because I don't like it's not something I can let go of, right? Like if it was a physical thing, right? Like maybe this is the way I can explain it, right? uh Being how I am, right? Like I think about people a lot, and I'll like build conversations in my mind, because again I have a hard time communicating with people. So I'll have a conversation 5,000 different times in my head before I actually get to the point, so I can try and say the right words. And in that way, this experience that I wanted to share was very important to me, and it was important to me in the moment, and it was important to me in leading up to, and it was important to me in that moment, right? That I wanted to share it as well. And then it wasn't received, right? If it was something as simple as a flower, maybe I was walking down the street, and then I saw this little flower, and then I picked it, and then I carried this flower all the way to you to hand it to you, and then you say no. In that case, in the physical plane, it would be easy for me to let go, because I can physically let go of that flower, let it fall to the ground, you know, put it in the trash or something, and I can let it go. I can move on, because this thing is now done. But when it comes to my mental space, there is no letting go of that. It is literally inside of me. It is a part of me. It is literally me. It is my neuronal makeup in that moment. It's not something I can let go of. And I feel like maybe in part I worry about that too, because I do form these pockets of obsession where things suddenly gain a lot of importance to me. And I don't know if I think I do have control over what that is. Do we? Do you? That could be a stream topic for a day. Do you have control over what is important to you? Who knows? You got pissed off the last time. I called them gator popcorn, so I didn't do that again. Yeah. Everything eats baby ducks. I was probably fresh from witnessing a massacre of my little buddies. It happens. I hate when it not happens, but it's nature. Natural is brutal. A black cat just scurried across the woods, popped two baby deer, pooped, spooked. Two baby deer, and I got to watch baby deer chase a black cat in a circle. That is kind of funny. I still get attached to them when they live here. I like playing with them, and then I'm sad when they get eaten. Most of them get eaten, but I have a few adults that were born here. They're my big, ugly buddies. Joe, my German auntie, was like that with her chickens. She would cry all day on slaughtering day, but then she would happily cook and eat them. Yeah, I hope at least, that you don't think there's anything wrong with that. I kind of see that as wholesome. I think it's still okay for us to be saddened by the death of our animals. But at the same time, I think there is a certain level of honoring in consuming the flesh thereof. This world literally eats itself. And before we have technology to make sure we can eat things that are less than sentient, uh, feel something about your food when you eat it. I think that could be, good enough. Don't feel bad, but feel something. In my world, I feel grateful. I'm like, wow, thank you. Thank you for having existed so that I can eat you. Super cool of you. Appreciate that. Melt, if you're going to have a partner and children, you're going to have to let it go. Otherwise, I know, Nancy. That's why I'm trying to get better. That's why I'm trying to grow, to do my inner work. You know, and I feel again having moments like these where it becomes so clear to me how quickly wanting something can escalate. Yeah. Yeah. Because again, you know, like it is a matter of me. Like if I am excited about something, I attach a certain part of myself to it. There's a little lizard peeking around the corner watching me. Hey. And it's almost like I cannot be myself if I have to let go, right? Like I can let go, but then suddenly I'm let going of me too. At least in that moment, and for who I am in that moment. Right? And I would hope that I don't have people in my life that expect me to be like that. Little lizard just came onto the patio. Mojo is here with us too. Love to you. Melty, I do that same thing with conversation sometimes. I know what I want to say, so I rerun my words enough times in my own head so I can articulate myself properly without losing focus. You need to find the balance between your attachments and your detachments. Yeah, if only it was that easy. Because again, the opposite of love is indifference. And the only way for me to stop talking about what I love is to become indifferent to the situation, right? And unfortunately to the people in the situation alongside me as well. It's like a matter of truth, right? Like, oh, I have been asked to let go of my truth, and now here we are, outside of truth, which is not love, which feels like this. What are we doing with ourselves? Hey, Kristen. It's nice having you here, friend. Salmonella feeling. I eat what I kill. I hate killing anything, but I sure do like stews. I think the letting go point was about letting go of the need to get what you want, not letting go of wondering why getting what you wanted didn't go smoothly. You know, like again, even though I hear what you friends are saying, it's almost like I cannot understand you. My book of things worth saying has this whole little chapter about desire. And how if it wasn't for desire, nothing would be. Right? There is this pure love that is. And then when a desire arises, then something is. Right? Then something is made to be. And for me, desire is that act of wanting something. Wanting what I want. Getting what I want. Right? If I have a desire for something, getting that thing I desire feels rewarding, right? It is rewarding. And I don't know how much of that is biological, how much of that is spiritual, how much of that is ego, but it is literally how we have been made to be. And again, for me, today's stream topic isn't so much about the getting what I want. For me, today's communication, today's conversation is about communicating in a way where it becomes clear to the other person they want the same things I do, right? Which is love, which is connection, which is a sense of lightheartedness, a sense of peace, a sense of calm, understanding, wisdom, right? Like those are the things that I want. And I'd like to believe that all of us want these things, but it's not always so clear when we try to communicate. I don't mean letting go of all the time, and maybe mentally you won't, but outwardly you can't come up with machinations to get what you want or think what you want is best. Well said, Mojo. Exactly, Joe. I think cows are cute in the field and in between a pair. Everything that is alive is cute. I find beauty in all of the critters. Sometimes I eat them. I try not to make friends with the things I eat though. It would be hard to raise a cow and then eat it, for me. Like, I wouldn't mind eating a cow that I raised. I would mind slaughtering it though. Right? Which feels more hypocritical. I get what you're saying though, Bojo. That's the plot of the new ending story. People must imagine, desire, and then Fantasia exists. Yeah. It's true. It's true, Kristen. And imagine if in Fantasia people were just like, no. No. How about no? How about I'm not going to desire? How about I just don't have any desires? How about I just want nothing? And again, with the amount of exposure I've had to different religions, in some of them, that seems to be the point. In Buddhism, you are supposed to abandon your desires. But I don't know if that is true, right? Is that true? Is the ideal state of being one of no desire? I don't know. I really don't know. And the part of me that wants to believe he knows says no. No, that's not what I want. I do not want to not have any desires. Right? Because again, a desire can manifest as simple as something as you see a bowl of beautiful looking apples and you would like to have one. Right? If you had no desire, you would see these objects and it wouldn't even register in your brain. You wouldn't have a thought about them. It would just be like, oh, apples. Oh. What now? What? Like there's nothing to do next because you don't have any desires. Yeah, desire is very important, I think. It's literally the driving force of all of us. If not for desire, none of us would be as well, kind of. Survival is different, but when I live in a land of abundance, I will not eat my friends. I hear you. I think this is a good standing to have. Kristen, did you read the book by Michael Ende? I used to love eating turtles until I started caring for two abandoned tortoises. I don't know, you could eat turtles, to be honest. In Buddhism, you're supposed to abandon your desires. It doesn't sound exactly right, but I haven't studied that one in depth. My instinct says that desire exists to hone our resistance, and thus, getting rid of it only serves to weaken us in the long run. That's beautifully put. Let's see how it is articulated. What does Buddhism believe about desire? At the heart of the system.
According to Cal State East Bay, at the heart of this.
No. Never ever do that. Please. unless I ask, but never ever just by yourself. At the heart of the system of Buddhism are four noble truths. Life is suffering, which I don't believe. I don't believe that, right? That's why I cannot be a Buddhist. Well, number one is life is suffering. Number two is attachment to desire. So not just desire, attachment to desire. When you are attached to this thing you desire, you are caused to suffer. Suffering ends with the attachment to desire, right? If you stop desiring, or if you stop attaching to desire, you stop suffering, and then you get liberated from suffering, right? But it is very much desire based, very much desire based, and the attachment to your desires. Yeah, more attachment to, not the desires themselves. But for me, suffering is when you want for things to be differently, right? Which can be a desire for something other than what is. And maybe in this weekend's communication, me suggesting we watch this movie was being registered as a communication of suffering, because I wanted something different than what we were having. And maybe there is some sort of ego involvement in thinking that they are responsible for that suffering to be caused. Who knows? Who knows? His nose. Who knows? Love is true. Now, when I catch one on a hook, I sit it cross-legged and talk to it until it relaxes enough to let me remove the hook. That's nice, bro. Bless. Sam, I definitely need to read that book. In Buddhism, we're living in the desire realm. Recognizing that desire can cause suffering is a recognition. I don't think Buddha in the same desire is wrong. Rather, desire just is. Recognizing. Sorry, that came out scrambled. It did. But I still got what you were saying, Nancy. Basically, we're in the desire realm. Desire something and not getting what you desire is a form of suffering. Yeah, but Buddhism isn't saying that you should get rid of your desire. You are right. You are right. Yeah. We did get to the point of letting go of what you want, though. Letting go of getting what you want. What a trip that is. There is so much the movies couldn't show due to technological limits. I can imagine. That is true. With the book. There are so many conflicting thoughts when you start to break down a word like desire or attachment. We sometimes get hung up on trying to define a moment rather than accepting that it's just a moment. Yo, there's a moment like that in Ultraman Rising, where the son tells his dad, and I won't spoil to you, but the son tells his dad about this moment they had in the past and how this moment shaped the rest of his life. And the dad replies, that was just one moment. Right? Like, to the son's eyes, what was is something so significant and important that it is going to shape the rest of their lives from that moment on forward. And to the dad, it is just another moment. Right? So, like, I feel like, again, that's where the importance comes in for me with today's stream topic. I believe the purpose of analysis is to put a stop to unwanted action upon the desire, thus the need for a label. Individuals with self-control may not need that safeguard, but some do. Yeah, no, this is true. It was really a pleasure sharing these things with you, friends. I'm gonna hit this Dynavap one more time. What's in there? Girl Scout cookies. This is GC. Green. And then that thing you're not supposed to step on to not break your mom's back. It's called green. Don't break your mom's back. You probably do know this strain. Sour strain. It is a sour strain, you're right. Identifying an undesirable result and the action leading up to it is a very good tool to have. All I'm saying is, we don't always have to use the pass-fail stamp on every situation. That's a good point. Sometimes shit happens and we move on. It's a good one. Super smelly stuff. This one is point blanky. Like it's like sour and chemically. You know, there's no chemicals in there, but it has that element to it. And very smelly, as you said as well. Like you would know about this one. I want to share this one beautiful moment. This one beautiful moment that did spawn from this weekend. We were talking about our safe spaces. And how there could be this little place in your mind where you can put yourself, if you find yourself a little bit overwhelmed by whatever is happening right now. And Christian tells us about how his safe space is on this beautiful beach, and how as the water is crashing, it's like pushing these little shells over themselves, creating these clicking sounds, right? And he transports us all to that. And he asks Johan, you know, what is his safe space, you know, sacred space? And as he asks Johan, I start to think to myself, do I have one? Do I have like a place inside of me that I go when things get overwhelming? And the first answer I come up with is no. There is nothing. There is nothing in me. There is nowhere I can go to feel calm, right? Like when I'm stressed, it manifests as stress on a physical level, and then I have to just get done what is stressing me out, and then I do, and then the stress ceases, right? But still, I want to be a part of the conversation, so I don't take that as an answer. I don't take nothing as an answer for my sacred space. And instantly, I go from seeing nothing to seeing myself as a disembodied consciousness, literally in the middle of an erupting volcano, right? The lava absolutely blasting through and across my body, flying past me, and I can see these molten rocks crash and flow over the side walls of this volcano. And I feel a sense of calm. And then we talk about that, you know, and I get to share that that's my apparent calm space. And I tell them as well about my process to getting to that. Johan mentioned his calm space is like a wooded forest. I see Johan as a kudu, Christian as a dolphin. Maybe a shark these days, actually. He would like if I said sea otter. How do you think Johan and Christian are feeling about it? We did have some conversations about it, Johan. We did. Like Christian felt a little bit sad. Like that was his exact words. He felt sad that it was like that, you know, that we raised our voices to each other. Like that saddens him. And maybe I'm feeling that sadness as well. Like, I think reading his poem today didn't really help me that much. And I feel Johan feels aware, because like when the fight, if it was, kind of ceased, we sat down with each other and articulated beautifully what he was seeing happen, and how he was seeing it happen, and how he was trying to help steer us in the right direction. So I think he sees this situation from a perspective of, I hope at least, pride in himself, that he did stand up for peace and did help us, resolve that whole situation. And I feel bad as well. I feel bad. I don't feel sad that much. I just feel bad. I feel like, oh, fuck. That's how I feel about it. All right. But again, and I had the conversation directly, like, who said that night? Who said we're supposed to feel good? Who said that? We're not always supposed to feel good. Sometimes there are bad feelings, right? And it's good to feel them too. This is fine. Love is true. Joe, so true. Love is true. Good question, Jovan. I hope that answered it. Mel, I know you wanted Christian to see the movie in particular because you thought it would resonate with him. And you said he did enjoy it. He did. He did. A lot as well, right? Because it's so clearly him. It's so clearly him as the main character. And Christian lost his mom. And the main character in that story had lost his mom. And his mom, despite being gone, is still a massive part of that story, right? Like, she's still there with them, affecting them, changing the decisions they make, despite her not being alive anymore or not being with them anymore. And that is Christian's situation, right? This story is about a dad that is helping their son with all of the responsibilities they have, which is literally Christian's situation. So there's so many like beautiful aspects of that movie. Like they start the movie talking about how Ultraman's biggest challenge is to maintain balance. And Christian's first tattoo that he got on his body is literally a tattoo that goes power and balance. All right, like it's a symbol for power and balance. So I've known this about Christian, like since I've known him, that he's power and balance before. And then a movie came out that is literally about power and balance and ego and responsibility and perspective, right? So much perspective on different worlds, showing you that there are very few evil people. Maybe just people telling themselves things in their minds, convincing themselves of things in their minds. Yuan is a mensch. Protect that man at all cost. He's a beautiful person. And like I praised him a bunch of times this weekend for stepping in the way that he did. I hope that resonates with him as well. Melty, as friends, as we grow, sometimes we grow in different directions. If we grow towards the east and me to the west, we still start from the same dirt. Like it hurts me a little bit, Pojo, that you are saying that. Not like you were trying to hurt me in saying that, but in remembering some of the conversations we had where I mentioned that we're going in a direction, right? And I want him to go in that direction with me. And I believe we're going in the same direction. And I could see that Christian didn't believe that, or didn't want to. And I don't know if it's a matter of like not wanting to be around me anymore, or thinking that I don't want to be around him. But yeah, I really do hope we don't grow apart. Johan said once, don't give up on people who don't give up. He really is a gem. I hope that he sees these messages. We grow and we bloom, we expand as we move. Our growth is a contingent upon our soil and our sunlight. Just because we eat the same food doesn't mean it will affect us equally. This is true. This is truth you speak, Brother Bear. No, I know, Brother Bear. I can feel it though, yeah. Like I don't want to believe that. That's the thing that's hurting, right? I don't even want to think about it. Never mind, believe it. All right, I'm gonna pull a card. Above the storm. Of course, that's the card we pull. I feel like it's gonna be a beautiful reminder of being like, hey bro, the storm is over. Oh, the storm had already happened and the sun is shining. You must rock outside. Stop tripping yourself out. Stop. Thank you. Thank you, wise man. Above the storm. I'm very much like you, Mel. You allow me to see through a different lens. You said you wanted Christian to see the movie because it resonated with him. Maybe he just didn't want to be resonated with. Yeah, I think you might be right about that. I think you might be right about that. But you know, and this is the thing. I feel like, and this is where the ego comes back in. The morning of that day, he was like, let's exercise together, and then puts on a 45-minute yoga class, right? That I mangle my body to, right? I put myself through severe pain for this friend of mine because he wants to do this thing with me, right? And I literally, not for a split second, not even for a split second, fought him on that, right? He was like, let's exercise together. So I go through my checklist. Oh, this is a person I love. This person loves me. They want the best for us. They're suggesting exercise. Let's do that. Good, right? And I guess that's where my ego also got inflamed of like, what the fuck, oh? What do you mean no? I never say no to you for anything. And now I ask you for this one thing and you're saying no to this? Right? And again, it's not like I'm asking you to put yourself through grueling exercise for the next 45 minutes. I'm asking you to sit down and appreciate something. Right? It's technically a state of rest you can be in. Above the storm. Above the storm. The storm had already raged. I get like that. I don't want any reflection or self-thought. I just want to be. Maybe he just wanted to be in the moment with you guys and not resonate to his internal self. Yeah. Maybe. But we do that a lot. And we did that the whole day before, right? So I feel like it's not like we were not doing that. The whole day before I got there, and we just sat and had conversations. It was nice. It was really nice. And then the whole day after, We just sat and had conversations. And then we sat and had conversations up until 10 p.m. Right? Like having, I know it's fun, but having 8 hours of continuous conversation can be a little bit exhausting. At least to me it is. And I was like, away. Can we fucking just like chillax for a second? So again, and that was also a conversation, like all of us want different things. And it is important for you to kind of like gauge, have I been allowed the things I want? Have my friends considered me and given me the things I want? Which I think I did. I think I did that. 100%. Above the storm. This card is going to be even more so good. This stream was helpful for me today. My dog is giving me take me for a walk look. Enjoy the day. Thank you, Nancy, for joining us, for consciously evolving alongside me, alongside all of us. May we say the right words, even if those words are none. Or maybe we should just say nothing at all. Reciprocal relationships are rare when you start living an observant and self-aware path. It can be discouraging, but don't let it muddy the waters of love. Totally agree. An observant and self-aware path. Yeah. Hold fast and stay the course. Remain vigilant in the desire to spread good love. I agree, bro. One more time. Above the storm. Card 56. Dynamic action and clarity. I did talk about clarity today. I talked so much about clarity. About saying the right things, right? Talking clearly. Goodness. Woo! Jovan says, I think when I've gotten in the funk like, why am I feeling this way? It's good to add experiences between the things that make me feel that way. To get out of that feel, I don't know if that could help. It does. Thank you. Thank you, Jovan. Like I have been applying that remedy myself. And I even like did that today where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna not churn this mindset right now and do something else instead. Thank you for that reminder. Conscious and constant evolution. This right here, this thing, is a dynamic card of action and fresh starts. A funnel cloud spins and bolts of lightning flash in dark swirling clouds. Above the storm, clear light radiates from crystal geometry. A figure 8 or Mobius strip composed of hands weave around the scene, uniting turbulence and radiance. The Mobius strip is a symbol of single-sided non-duality, linking darkness with clarity. Every human life has times of turmoil and unrest, when storm clouds seem to close in and conditions become challenging. You may be experiencing such a time when sparks fly and tempests rage. Did I not actually say tempests rage as well in stream today? When sparks fly and tempests rage. I did experience such a time. Or it may be that someone you love is now going through a crisis. I feel like there might be something like that. Tough times come and go. And it is important to remember the truth of the old saying, it is darkest before the light. Whether it is your own storm or that of a friend, this card asks you to move beyond difficult times with ease, grace, and tenderness. Consciously witness what is occurring. Step out of the drama and view this turbulence with the eyes of an observer. Jeez, that is kind of wild. Used your words as well, Joe Schmoes. Act in support of the decision that needs to be made to move this dynamic action to a place above the storm, where clarity and light may overcome all obstacles. Use the Mobius strip to help you visualize how energy moves through times of dynamic action into the light. Envision crystal clarity as the outcome and give thanks for your ability to weather the storm and find a fresh start. What a trip. Love is true. Now I will smoke weed, drink coffee, and repair some lawnmowers. 11:11. Make a wish. I wish for world peace. I wish for universal basic income. I wish for free healthcare. I wish for happiness upon all human beings. I wish for compassion for our animal friends from all human beings. I wish for quiet moments of gentle ease. And I wish to see you again tomorrow, dear friend. I love you all. Thank you for joining me, for spending this moment, for giving me a chance to say the right words. I don't know if I did. I think some of them were still wrong, but I did try. Yes, UBI for the win. Love is true. Have the most beautifulest, wonderful, splendid, absolutely fantastic, so great that you will literally not be able to not go and share that greatness with every single person you see. I hope that day brings you back to this space again. Might not be tomorrow, might be a week from now. But when we do, thank you for being good, for living with love is true in your heart. I'll see you friends again soon. Goodbye, everybody.